From start to finish in the third, 21 points to 9. They had taken the first 21-18, and then the number one seeds bounced back in the second, but there was only one pair who were going to come out on top in the third. Unforced errors at times, but really showed what they were about, weren't they, in that third game, 21 points to 9. A little bit of a mishap in that second game, but there was no messing in the third, was there? Praveen Jordan and Debbie Susanto then knock out the number one seeds. The winner of Kia Lu or Yachong Huang of China, another Indonesian pair in Eddie Subaktia and Gloria Emmanuel Wijaja. So Praveen Jordan and Debbie Susanto through to the final. So it's men's singles action coming up for us in the next two matches on court one, and the first of those sees Simon Sentosa of Indonesia take on Tamasin Siddicom, the Thai teenager. See most of the crowd now have made their way in, people coming in all the time, and umpire and line service judge have made their way now onto court. Really looking forward to seeing whether Simon Sentosa here can continue what's been an event of a renaissance, really. Well, two players making their way out on court, and I suppose like in the women's singles match we'll see later on when Akuhara takes on Ferdasari, it's a teenager up against, well, a veteran, I suppose we can call him, at the age of 28, Simon Sentosa. There is Sentosa, the number 15 seed. And he seems to be inspired by turning pro, leaving the Indonesian national training camp as he did in January. But a bit of an unknown quantity up against him at the other end. Umpire in the middle, reading these two, is from Malaysia, Teo Kian Ju. Well, big match this for Siddicom, and I suppose in some respect big match as well for Sentosa. He's on his way back. Siddicom, it seems, is on his way up. He has won a couple of events as well. And he has been high up on the world ranking, Simon Santoso, but now at number 56 in the world, as you can see. He lost first round matches in Malaysia and Korea in the Super Series events at the start of the year, but he's bounced back a little since then, and it's a career you can see that has been going on a while. He was in the national team for 10 years. Now training under Hendry Saputra. Once ranked at number 3 in the world. And this is how he got to the last 4. And straight game victories all the way. Looked very impressive. Saw off the Malaysian teenager yesterday, Tek Ji Soo, very quickly. Beat the number 5 seed in the last 16 as well. Shuizong. So it's been a pretty comfortable route so far, and you'd have to make him favourite in this clash as well. Up against a player who's ranked outside the top 100 in the world, 139th, of course not seeded. As you can see, despite the fact that he's only 18, in fact turns 19 next week, Siddicom, he's been around for a while. Won the Singapore International in 2012, the Smiling Fish event last May. That's in Thailand.
Ready to play?
He's still playing junior tournaments. And his route is there. 12-7 down he was in the 3rd game against Wei Nan, before coming through 21-17. Bit of a marathon 3-setter, that one. This is his first event of the year. It'd be a nice way to celebrate his birthday, wouldn't it? Confirmation then are officials both from Malaysia. Teo Kian Ju in the umpire seat, and the service judge Chan Ah Jun.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Tamasin Siddicom, Thailand. And on my left, Simon Santoso, Indonesia.
Once again, plenty of support for the Indonesian player on court.
Lobo, play.
Well, after 10 years with the national team, Simon Santoso has gone solo. It's proving good so far this week in Malaysia. And he's up against a Thai teenager with nothing to lose in this semi. And Siddicom takes the opening point. We know about the young talent as far as the Thai teenage girls are concerned. Ratchanok Intanon and Pontip, both in the top 10 of the world rankings for the women. Well, going for his shots early on Siddicom. No lack of confidence, even though he did lose that point.
Two, one.
Such experience that Simon Santoso has. He thinks having to fend for himself has rejuvenated him. 2 disappointing performances, as I mentioned earlier, in those Super Series events in January. He decided to quit. governing body, the PBSI, had given him semi-final targets there, but semi-finals he makes here.
Service over.
Slumping form, problems with illness. Santoso saw him slip from number 3 in the world, now outside the top 50. He looks very relaxed, doesn't he, Santoso?
4-2.
He's got his opponent moving well. Nicely played. Excellent from Simon Santoso there.
5-2.
Already a theme developing in this semi-final. You can understand there will be some nerves from the 18-year-old Tamasin Siddicom. And I suppose, even though with his great wealth of experience, Simon Santoso with a point to prove here this week. And so far he is proving it. Straight games wins all the way so far, and after a really good start in this semi-final. That was right on the line. Siddicom appeals it.
7-2.
Not overruled by the Malaysian umpire, Teo Kianju, who sticks with the decision. And from where I was, it looked like it was on the line. Exposed maybe a little bit of a weakness on the Siddicom backhand. A few winners down that side already for Santoso. Just to settle himself down here. Siddicom trying to start playing some of the badminton that got him through into the semis. It was a huge battle against Wei Nan of the number 10 seed yesterday. Oh, that was just out. He's hardly put a foot wrong, Santoso, but just misjudged that one. Siddicom relieved to see that one given up. Although, having looked at the replay, I'm not that convinced it was out. He's looking very comfortable, isn't he, so far? And given their age, it does right now look like man against boy. Better from Siddicom in this rally. And as I say that, he plays the clear long. Well, he'll need to settle himself down in this interval, Siddicom, because he's being easily brushed aside so far by the experienced Simon Santoso. It's been a one-sided affair in this men's singles semi-final so far. Santoso leading by 11 points to 3. He was better in that rally, Siddicom. Better array of shots, but you can see there's tension in his play right now.
Got 1, 20 seconds. got 1, 20 seconds.
Important for his coach to get things across to him. Santoso, well, just needs more of the same, really.
11-3. Play.
Very nicely played.
12-3.
And he slipped outside the top 100 in the world, Simon Santoso. A back injury. Had played much in that. Really had hindered him, but he says he still loves the sport, reckons there maybe less pressure on him as an independent player.
13-3.
Interesting to see whether, if he does win this week, whether he does get into the Thomas Cup team. Of course, behind Tommy Sugiato, the world number 4, Rumbaka and Kunkoro also ahead of him. But said he wouldn't turn down the chance to play in the Thomas Cup in Delhi in May. Talking to Santoso about his service there. Smash to the body, nothing Santoso could do, and Sidicom getting a foothold at last in this match.
Service over, 14-5.
Good play from Santoso. And,
Service over,
looking a little more comfortable on court now. Good rally. Oh, excellent play from Santoso. Should have come on the floor in more ways than one, really, because he played pretty well in that rally and he still came out second best. Excellent rally. Stretched the player from one side of the court to the other, and then the winning overhead smash. Dispiriting point for Tamasin Sidicom. He's had some good victories, Sidicom, last year. Made the semi-finals of the Thailand Open. Knocked out Tommy Sugiato in round 1. Fought back well yesterday as well in the semi-final. Although he wasn't trading by as much as he is right now. Just long from Tamasin Sidicom there. Now left by Simon. And again. It's incredible how quickly 13 minutes on court. And Simon Santoso getting very close to taking this opening game.
86.
Smash to the body. What does Siddicom do here to get himself into this match? Just wide this time from Santoso. I think that's what he's got to do, really, is keep the shuttle in play. Santoso's been able to play all the shots and didn't miss the line by much there, did he? The line again by a fraction. Only for panic. 18-6 becomes 18-8. But maybe that's a way forward for Siddicom here. Don't necessarily go and play all the shots. Keep yourselves in the rallies and 3 points in a row. Just gives them a little bit of a morale boost ahead of the second game, which is not far away, is it? Angle this time.
99.
Points then for Santoso, 11 of them. From Siddicom.
20.
Better. Thomas in Siddicom, and after being blown away in the opening part of the game, he's come back into it. You just wonder how much it is Santoso pacing himself, just letting his foot off the gas a little, or is it Siddicom just stepping things up a little?
20.
I think it's more of the former than the latter, personally, but as I say, important for Siddicom because it starts again in game 2. These points will certainly give him a little bit of confidence going into it. Excellent winning point from Simon Santoso. It was a fairly dominant game from the Indonesian, and he takes that opening game by 21 points to 12. Always on the back foot after that lightning fast start. A few points at the end saw Siddicom rally, but it was never really a question of who was going to take that opening game. It goes to Simon Santoso. Very composed. drop shots, the smashes, all going for Santoso here early on in this match. Made it look rather easy. This semi-final will meet the winner of the next match on court, Suvarno of India and Wei Feng Chong of Malaysia.
Got 1, 20 seconds. Got 1, 20 seconds. Second game, level, play. One, love.
To a fast start again, Santoso. As I say, I think there was a slide heading off at the pace in the latter part of that second game. That's a good angle from Siddiq.
Service over. 1, 2.
Well, complacency can get in the way here for Santoso, and also for Siddiq now that the nerves would have gone. It's a case now of nothing to lose. He got swept aside in that first game. Get back to playing the way he has been in this tournament thus far. Excellent net play from Santoso.
3, 2. Service over. 3-0.
Ahead in the game here.
3.
Thomasin Siddiq, first time he's led the game so far. A few errors from Santoso, that was a fair chunk wide. Excellent.
5-0.
A little bit short. Nicely put away.
Service over. 6-5. Seven, 5.
Well, it's a decent fight back, isn't it, from Siddicom in this second game. And the news I've just been getting as well is they know who they're going to be playing in the final, the winner of this match, because unfortunately Wei Feng Chong, the #2 seed from Malaysia, we understand has withdrawn and won't be playing in the semi-final that was due on court next. Not 100% sure the reasoning for it. One can only assume there is an injury problem for Wei Feng Chong. But Feng Chong unfortunately won't be playing, so Surabh Varma will be in the final, the Indian shuttler, and we'll play the winner of this match in tomorrow's final. Obviously we'll give you more news on that if we get it, but I'm sure Surabh Varma was looking forward to playing in the semi-final, but maybe greater incentive for one of these two players. And at the moment Santoso with the game ahead, but 8-5 down in this second. Make that 9-5 down. Getting frustrated and, well, we saw some fighting abilities from Tamasin Siddicom yesterday in the quarter-final, and we're seeing more of that here in the semi, aren't we? Long from Santoso there. That's more like it from Santoso.
6-9.
Well, he's let things slip a little in this second game, although we should take nothing away from Siddicom, who has fought back well after that nervous start. Suddenly we've got a match on here, haven't we? I suppose considering what we've got in the other men's semi-final, it's nice to see a match on. Santoso there with a really poor error.
Service over. 10-6.
Weak effort from Santoso there. And Tamasin Siddicom could lengthen things here. Well, surprisingly, excellent, really good drop shot from Siddicom, and who saw this one coming? Swept aside in the first game, the Thai teenager. He's battled back well in the second, and he has the interval lead here.
Belum jangan guna flash.
fighting back. Tamasin Sidicom leads at the interval in game number 2 by 11 points to 6.
Got 1, 20 seconds. Got 1, 20 seconds.
Test here for Santoso. Interesting to see how he reacts to this situation. Everything was plain sailing in that first game. Of course, these two players will be unaware that what's happened in the other men's singles semi-final with Wei Feng Chong pulling out. There's a statement of intent.
11.
Like he's given himself the proverbial kick up the backside, hasn't he, here, Santoso? We'll see if he can maintain the spirit he's shown after the interval.
Service over. 12-8.
Tamasin Sidicom take this to a third game. Going wide, that one from Santoso.
13-8.
Getting some vocal support, Santoso. Good Indonesian following inside this Pasir Gudang Municipal Arena. Lift a little short, but the smash not put away by Sidicom.
Service over. 9-13.
Important point you feel there. If he could have got himself 14-8 ahead, would have been a big lead in this second game. But 4 points, you feel that Santoso still has the ability to turn it around and see it off in straight games. This is another overhead.
10-30.
Well, obviously, when you get to the age of 28, and 10 years older than your opponents down the other end, as is the case today for Santoso against Sidicom. You're in that veteran status. You see players like Lindan are putting their feet up most of the year. But obviously Simon Santoso is still hungry to play top-level badminton. And despite being out of the national team, keen to try and make a mark on the international arena. And he's certainly done that this week in Johor Bahru. And you'd still make him the favourite here to reach the final and take on the Indian Surabvala. mistake in judgment there from Santoso. He felt that was going out, but it was in. He was on a nice little run of points as well. There was no disappointment with the call, and that's why it was clearly in. Wonder whether Tamasin Sidicom just tense up a little. String broken there for Santoso in winning that point, but whether it might just tense up as he edges towards closing out this game, or whether he can still play with the freedom that we've seen here since obviously going comfortably a game down. Close. Stare from Tamasin Sidicom there, suggesting he wasn't 100% sure that was out. It's an important point. Goes the way of Santoso.
Service over, 50. Yeah.
Santoso, and 3 points the advantage again for Sidicom. Confirmation that Wei Feng Chong has an injury, and that's the reason why he is unable to play in the semi-final that was due after this match against Surat Varma. Big disappointment it'll be as well for the local crowd here. I'm sure we're hoping to cheer on the only Malaysian singles player left in the tournament.
Service over, 30-15.
There was no talk after his win yesterday of an injury, Chong Wei Feng. It's something that he overnight has worsened for him. Simon Santoso creeping ever more into this second game. Punishment that it deserved.
60-40.
Simon Santoso, of course, has been in plenty of finals. And the extra disappointment for Chong Wei Feng, of course, is that he's never been in an international final before, and he was only one step away. So one must assume that injury was pretty serious for him, not even to give it a go against Surat Varma. And a match you probably would expect him to win as well. That's out. Good judgment this time from Santoso.
50-16.
Clearly was out. Well, suddenly things are back level in this men's singles semi-final. Indonesian winner in the men's singles last year. Malaysia Yunis winning it. Of course, Lee Chong Wei had won the first 4 editions of this Malaysia Open Grand Prix Gold event. Siddicombe just ahead in this second game. But what was a fairly comfortable gap at one point has tightened up as the game's gone on. 13-8 ahead at one point. 17-16 right now. Nice net play from Santoso.
74.
Gives his opponent the stare as well. Lovely touch. Classy. He's given him a bit of a run around here, Santoso. But he can't put off the net shot this time.
80-70.
A very one-sided affair, wasn't it, in this opening game? But game 2 has proved a different story. Now, can Simon Santoso take a grip on this second game? He's fought his way back into it really well. And he's ahead now, and he's 2 points away from victory. Oh, excellent. Lovely disguise in the drop shot from Siddicombe. Tightens things up again. Point this one, and it's out from Simon Santoso, and it's game point for Tamasin Siddicombe. Siddicombe in for the kill, and it's going to a third game. Well, what a turnaround in this men's singles semi-final. And all credit to the Thai teenager, Tamasin Siddicombe here. Swept away in game 1. He was pulled back in game 2, but he got the job done in the end. And, well, easy pickings for him with the winning point eventually. Read it well, and nothing Santoso could do about that. 21-12 the first game to Santoso, but Siddicom hitting back 21-19 in the second, and we're off for a third and deciding game.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Well, excellent fight back from Tamasin Siddicom. Surab Varma awaiting in the final with the news, in case you're just joining us, that Chong Wei Feng will not be turning up for the semi-final against Surab Varma. He has withdrawn because of an injury. Just one step away from his first international final, but Siddicom and Santoso with it all to play for.
Service over. 1-0. 1 love.
Well, a good start from Santoso to this third game, but you know, this young man's got plenty of fighting ability. So much in top-level sport, whichever the sport, is that mental fortitude. Yeah, it was going wide. For a moment, I thought Santoso was going to play it, but he judged it well in the end. On the floor at one point in that rally as well. And takes the first 3 points in this third game. Resistance left in him here, Siddicom. Still very early in this third game, plenty of time for him to retrieve the situation. Colourful shoes to go with his colourful shirt, isn't it, for Santoso? Tamasin Siddicom needs to find the player of the game too. He was making very few mistakes. He was not tense. He was able to find the corners. He's off the mark in this third game at least. Just a little too eager, Santoso, to get the job done. I think it was there for the hitting. Didn't miss by much either, did it? Found the target that time. You get the feeling this is going to be a tough task ahead here for Tamasin Siddicom. I suppose the perspective for him, whichever way it goes from here, it's been a good week to the semi-finals. His first event of the year on the international stage.
Service over. 3-6. Service over. 7-3.
Well, I'm not sure yet who Surabham will be playing, but what an opportunity for the young Indian as well, just 21 years of age, because of Conway Fenn's withdrawal. Surabham in the final, the 23-year-old from India, the number 6 seed here. He's been on a good run of titles, back-to-back titles in February in challenge events in Austria and Iran, after winning in Mumbai in the Tata Open in December as well. So he's on a good run of winning form. So I fancy his chances, whether it's Santoso or Siddicom in the final.
Play.
Well, nothing predictable about this game so far, has there? I thought the way Santoso played in that first game, and he really did look like man against boy, that Siddicom looked like he might be swept aside in around half an hour, but well, none of it. He's fighting hard in this third to stay in it. Just out.
9-5.
Santosa.
6-9.
Forced error. Things tightening up again. More like it. It was easy pickings. It gives him another 3-point advantage here, Santosa, whose last victory was last year in the Indonesia Open Grand Prix Gold event. Happy to see that go well. Takes the point. Every time you think Simon Santosa is edging towards victory, back comes Samasin Siddicom, and it's happened in this third game alone. It's kind of like mirrored the match in a way. Santosa off to a really good start, stretching into the lead, and then back came his opponent. Well, an interval lead for Simon Santosa, but I don't think this is the kind of match where you should be making too many predictions. Just falling on the wrong side of the net as far as Siddicom is concerned, but he's very much in with a chance of making the final here. It's very tight in the deciding set. Simon Santosa leading by 11 points to 9.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Ya, dari depan kok masih puasa supaya
going to be then? The young upstart, the Thai teenager, or the experienced Indonesian shuttler Simon Santosa. It's the Indonesian who has a 2-point advantage here in this final game. Two important points. Just restart here for Santoso. 11-9 becomes a 4-point lead at 13-9. In. Good rally as well. And just the run that he was looking for here. 4 points in a row at just the right time for Simon Santosa. Inside the line. That stops the little run. If Siddicom hasn't been at this stage of an event before, of course. Twice he's been in semi-finals despite his tender years. He's got himself back into things again, just when you think Santoso is motoring away again. 3 points in a row for Siddicom, pulls him back into it. A bit of a topsy-turvy match, this one. So from a 5-point lead, the lead down to 1 again. Really should be entering these final points with a carefree attitude, Siddicom. For the first game, he looked dead and buried, and then at the start of this third game, Santoso looked as if he'd put things beyond him, but once again he's come back, and of course he can kind of draw on what happened yesterday. He was 12-7 down in the third game in his quarterfinal against Wei Nan of Hong Kong. And he reeled off 6 points in a row there to end up winning at 21-17 in the third. He's just won 4 points in a row here. Santoso have been warned. And that's 5 points in a row. It's a case of deja vu right now. And a positive one as far as Tamasin Siddicom is concerned. One game all, 14 points all. Good aggressive play from Santoso. He went for it, it's wide. Back ahead goes Santoso. Is this the final move? Good flick serve. I said, is this the final move from Santoso? Well, negative. Back comes Siddicom again. Kept himself in the point. Now can he take it? Really big point, this one. He's on the floor, and Santoso takes the point. And a gut-wrenching loss of a point for Tamasin Siddicom. And he's left nothing out there. Was a vital point for Santoso to take. Just went down a little too early. Well, I've been on court an hour and 8 minutes in this semi-final.
80-60.
Santoso 3 points away from victory. Well, the court's been mocked, but Siddicom was checking if it was to his liking. Feels that maybe a little bit of trying the old delaying tactics. wide. By the looks of the players out on the court, Santoso looks stronger, if you like. I just wonder whether Siddicom is feeling the pace a little. Had a long game yesterday. Of course, a 3-game win. And I told you he fought back from it. Here he is in another marathon match. And he's only 18, of course.
17-18.
He's giving everything out there. He's still very much in this semi-final. Fans sensing that Santoso getting closer to that finishing line. We're on 59 points in this match. 60th here will bring up match point. It's long from Siddicom, and Santoso does indeed have 3 match points. If we learned nothing from the last hour and 10 minutes, we know that Tamasin Siddicom is not a man who will give up the fight that easily. Few stoppages, haven't there, in this third game. Has been fairly lenient at this point to allow them to stop, particularly on a Santoso leads in the final game of the semi-final. Sticking in somehow, Tamasin Siddicom. Simon Santoso, though, books his place in the final. The renaissance continues here in Malaysia for the former world number 3. Great fight from his teenage opponent, Tamasin Siddicom. He deserves a lot of credit from this match, but the joy in the end is for Simon Santoso. Really good final point as well. It was as hard fought as the match was overall. This is the winning point for Simon Santoso. Relieved to see Siddicom's net shot find the net into a final. Simon Santoso here in Malaysia in a really long battle against Tamasin Siddicom. 21-12, 19-21, 21-18. So we know the final tomorrow will be between Simon Santoso and Suravarma. To remind you, there'll be no Chong Wei Feng Suravarma after this. enthralling semi-final between the Indonesian veteran and the Thai youngster. Santosa looked as if he was cruising to the semi-final, to the final. But Silicon came back at him on more than one occasion. But in the end, it was Simon Santosa who prevailed in 3 games. We were due another men's singles semi-final, but that's been put paid by the injury of Chong Wei Feng. So it's the women's singles semi-final that is up next. Nozomi Okuhara against Adrianti Ferdasari. And again, I suppose, like in the last match, it's Indonesian veteran against teenage talent. Is Ferdasari, the veteran, and there is the youngster Nozomi Okuhara. Turns 19. Yeah, 19-year-old Okuhara up against the 27-year-old Indonesian.